She announced our divorce on Instagram before she even told me. I stayed silent while the world cheered for her. But in the end, karma spoke louder than any caption she ever wrote. I was sitting in the middle of a morning work meeting when my phone began to buzz nonstop. The vibration kept going until it became impossible to ignore. At first, I thought maybe someone was playing a joke on me, or perhaps it was a birthday prank, or even a viral meme involving my name. But when I finally picked up the phone and opened Instagram, my entire body froze. Right there at the very top of my feed was a picture of my wife. She was dressed beautifully, smiling wide, holding a glass of champagne in her hand like she had just won something. The caption under the photo cut through me like a knife. New beginnings. Sometimes love stories end, and that's okay. Excited to start this next chapter officially single. Beneath those words were hundreds of likes, dozens of comments, and all kinds of emojis, hearts, fire, and crying faces. People wrote things like, "You deserve better," and "So proud of you for choosing yourself." And just like that, without a word to my face, I learned that my marriage was over from a social media post. For a few seconds, I couldn't even breathe. My hands trembled, and my first thought was that this had to be some kind of joke. But deep inside my gut, I knew it wasn't. My phone continued to vibrate with notifications. My sister sent me a message asking, "Ethan, what's going on? Are you guys okay?" Even my boss, who followed her online, stepped into my office looking concerned and said softly, "Take the rest of the day off, man. Go handle whatever this is." I had no words, just a dull ringing echo in my head as I tried to process what I had just seen. When I finally got home later that day, the house felt different. Half of her closet was empty. Her jewelry drawer was gone. And sitting on the kitchen counter was a small note that read, "Didn't know how else to do this. Please don't call me. I need space." I let out a broken, bitter laugh. Didn't know how else to do this? We had been married for 6 years. We built a home, shared dreams, planned futures together. And she ended it all with a caption, a filtered photo, and a few hashtags. What hurt more than anything was not just that she left, but the performance behind it. The polished smile, the perfectly written words, the carefully crafted image to gain public sympathy. She managed to paint herself as the brave woman choosing herself, while I was automatically cast as the villain in a story I had no part in writing. The days that followed were brutal. My phone turned into a war zone. Messages poured in from friends, coworkers, and even strangers wanting to ask what happened. People looked at me differently, and even at the grocery store I could feel their eyes and hear the whispers behind my back. Her post spread quickly around town, shared by mutual friends and even featured on a local gossip page that called it Modern Love. Woman chooses herself after leaving toxic marriage. That word toxic burned like acid. I wanted to scream out that I was never abusive, never controlling, never cold. I had been loyal, supportive, and loving through every one of her struggles, from anxiety to career changes to personal doubts. But she had rewritten the ending, and in her version of the story, I was the obstacle she needed to escape. Nights were the hardest. I would lie awake scrolling through the comments on her posts, watching people cheer for her freedom, while I sat alone in the empty shell of a home we had built together. I replayed every conversation, every argument, every time she whispered, "I'm just tired," before turning away from me. Looking back, the signs were there, but I never expected she would twist the story into a performance to win applause. About a week later, I saw another post that shattered any remaining hope I had. This time, she was sitting in a wine bar with her coworker Daniel, smiling with a glow that I had not seen in years. The caption read, "When someone reminds you what real love feels like." That was when the truth hit me hard. She hadn't left for space. She had left for someone else. The Instagram announcement wasn't about cowardice. It was about control. She wanted to get her story out first, to make sure everyone believed her version before I even had a chance to speak. That night, I made a choice. I deleted every shared photo we had online, packed away what little dignity I felt I still had, and called a lawyer. This wasn't about revenge, not yet. It was about taking back my name, my peace, and my story. After that night, I made a promise to myself. I would not beg for explanations from someone who chose public applause over private honesty. So I went silent. I didn't post a response, didn't try to defend myself online. And that silence bothered her. I could tell because suddenly she began posting even more, as if she needed to convince people she was right. In the first week after she left, I focused only on the practical matters. My lawyer, a calm and professional woman named Caroline, helped me file separation papers and begin dividing assets. One morning she looked at me and said, "Ethan, I've seen a lot of divorces, but this one is different." What she did online wasn't about closure. It was about controlling the narrative. And she was right. My wife wasn't just ending a marriage. She was building a brand. Every photo, every quote, every hashtag was part of a carefully planned image of a strong woman reclaiming her voice. But behind that image were lies. Daniel started showing up more and more in her posts. Dinner dates, weekend trips, and happy smiles. To the world, they looked like a fairy tale. To me, they looked like two people desperately trying to justify their betrayal. But I wasn't just sitting still. I quietly began collecting proof, old messages, emails, even therapy notes where she had admitted she felt detached long before she ever claimed I was toxic. I didn't do it for revenge. I did it for my own sanity, so that when the lies grew loud, I would always have the truth to hold on to. Then one day something shifted. A friend of hers reached out to me privately and said, "Ethan, she's been telling people you cheated. That's how she's justifying moving on so quickly. But we know it's not true. She's rewriting everything." That was the moment clarity hit me. She wasn't just trying to move on. She was destroying me to build herself up. So a month after her big freedom post, I shared something of my own. A simple photo of me sitting on my porch with my dog and a cup of coffee. The caption read, "When your story gets told without you, remember, truth doesn't need hashtags. It just needs time." I didn't mention her name. I didn't accuse or attack. But people read between the lines. Within hours, her own followers began questioning her story. Wait, what actually happened? Didn't they split just last month? This doesn't add up. Her carefully built image began to crack. She tried to post a quick story saying, "Please respect my privacy." Privacy? The same thing she had stolen from me when she broadcasted our divorce to the world. And then karma arrived. On one of her posts with Daniel, a comment appeared from his ex-wife. Just one sentence that read, "Funny how he said the same thing to me last year." The illusion shattered instantly. People began unfollowing her, and the applause turned into doubt. She wanted to be a symbol of strength. Instead, she became a warning of how quickly a public image can collapse. Meanwhile, I quietly began rebuilding my life. Therapy helped me heal. Running cleared my mind. A new job in Seattle gave me a fresh start away from the gossip. I discovered new hobbies like photography and learned to appreciate the small, unshared moments that didn't need an audience. Months passed, and eventually, people stopped asking about her. The truth revealed itself on its own without me ever screaming or fighting to prove anything. One morning, as I scrolled through my messages, I found a paragraph from her. She wrote that she shouldn't have done it that way, that she just wanted attention, that she missed the version of herself she was with me. I didn't reply, not because I wanted to hurt her, but because I finally understood something. She wasn't apologizing for breaking me. She was regretting losing the security she once had. I closed the message, walked outside, and watched the sunrise. For the first time in months, I felt free. She had gone viral for announcing our divorce. But I found peace by never announcing my healing. In the end, karma didn't arrive with a dramatic explosion. It came quietly, patiently, showing everyone who she really was without me having to do a thing. She had tried to write the ending of our story with hashtags and filters. But the real ending was written by silence, by truth, and by the simple fact that I had survived it all. And that, more than anything, was my victory.